In this video, I want to talk about the 99 distortion basics. So 99 is a kick drum, and it was the most OG type of kick drum. It was made in the Roland T, well, just in like a drum synthesizer. So it's a 99, it's a very classic sample, and everybody who started making hardstyle used that 99. And it's evolved, and right now people might be making kicks in another way because there's so many functionalities how you can create a kick. First things first, there is no right and wrong. There is just a method that is probably fastest, like the fast way to create a kick. But that doesn't mean that any other method is invalid. If you make a dope kick, it's a dope kick, and if it sounds good, it is good. So basically what I'll show you is the basics of hardstyle distortion that you can use. And yeah, the first thing you go is just go into your FL Studio basic samples. You can look for a 99 kick, but I really like the E-kit kick as well. It's like a variation, I guess. You can see this is 99 kick and E-kit kick. You can use any kick. That's also a thing. It's just that some type of kicks just work better for different types of harder style kicks. But if we take this kick and we start applying basics, I'll show them right away. So what you are going to do is EQ, distortion, EQ, distortion, EQ, distortion. In total, you might have 3 layers, or like 3 chains, and one chain, 3 chains. So what I call a chain is a EQ unit and a distortion unit, and that's one chain. So let's take an EQ and then a distortion. So basically, the first EQ will only be here to create this bass cut, like this. Type, high pass, steep 8. And we will go back into this. It's not that I show you the setting, it's something that you tweak along the way. There's no scenario that I can teach you. It's just one method that works the best. So here's an EQ, and you can control the sub, and you will just slightly move it. So, you know, if you listen to it, there's nothing changing. But what I will do is now add a fruity wave shaper to keep it simple, right? That's already the difference. What you can do instead is actually take Distortion, which is free, because then we have a clipper. It's kind of the same as wave shaper. I just really like to use hard clip, so now we went from that to this. Now we add one more EQ, and as you can see, if I now change the bass cut, you get different characters, so that's why we added here. So then we add another EQ and another distortion. So let's add distortion again. Open the hard clip. And in this EQ here, we're going to boost stuff. So as you can hear, that's pretty cool. Make sure you remove the limiter on the master. So a general rule of thumb in this second EQ is that boosting different parts get different kick. So the first type of kick that's very straightforward is just boosting the mids. That gets you into the Rawstyle territory. As you can hear. Very raw. Second type of thing you can do is remove the bass, the sub, because this really gets you more crunch. So more crunch means the same as removing sub. As you can hear, if I boost it more, we get this sine wave vibe. So that's why I don't really boost it. You kind of want to control it. You don't really want to create a high pass like this here. You can, but it might ruin the kick. Like this is one, and this is without. But yeah, that's the mids for you. And then another place you can really boost is the bass. And boosting the bass gets you a little bit into Frenchcore, because Frenchcore has this very like this square wave vibe, which you get around the bass. Like, listen to this, right? More distortion. And then, you know, I'll show you in more detail how you actually get there, but that's the bass. So mid, Rawstyle, bass, a little bit for Frenchcore, remove the sub for more crunch. And if you created a boost, so you know, you boosted one frequency like this, you can remove frequencies around it like this to create interesting stuff. So compared to or here. That really works. So if you then go back in this and change the resonance, you get different sounds as well. So as you can hear, and I've played it, it is pretty cool. So what you can do once you like a setting of this thing, you can add another EQ and then tweak it, because you don't want to ruin the setting that you have here, or you don't have enough knobs anymore. So So that's kind of the basics. And what you can do is introduce one more. And finally, sorry for the chaos, but it's just I try to do it improvised on the spot and just try to explain a little bit what it does. So mid's Rawstyle, bass for the Frenchcore, remove the sub for a little bit more crunch, change frequencies around the peak that you created like this. That is really nice to do as well. And then finally, Hardstyle Kicks are a little bit in the low mid, because here you get the wow. It's easy to get into Rawstyle as well if you do it this way. What you want with Rawstyle is like really boosting stuff, and with Hardstyle Harcore Kicks it's a little bit more about keeping it subtle, because as you can hear, you get the pow in the game. So now you can add one more chain, EQ, distortion again. And here I like to just add some clarity, nothing special. And there's one more effect that you can add, that's the wave shaper. And in here you go to bit munched, because this will get crunch. Listen to the difference, right? What did I change? I think, no, this one goes here, and then this one goes here, and the wave shaper, yeah, like this. So the wave shaper without, with. You can hear this crunch, right? Which is nice to have in some scenarios, because you want to get the real type of crunch in the game. You get that with the bit munched preset. It's right here. So you can put this here. And most of the time it doesn't really work anywhere before the first or second chain. But afterwards, it's pretty nice. You can take down the mix. And then afterwards, at the end of the kick, you can corrective EQ it. And now you can go back into this chain here and change stuff. So. As you can hear, I like this one. What I really like about the beginning now is that crunch you get, like the caw, you know, like the punch actually. So I want to create an automation clip where I just boost the punch at the beginning and then get it down. So what you want to do is, not what I just did, but you go into this thing here, and then you're going to see if I move it down, that knob moves. So if I just automate this, so it goes from 100 to middle. I have a punch created, and then the crunch comes afterwards. And I want to move a little bit more, so let's also automate this one, but just so it's more subtle. So. And now I think that this wave shaper is a little bit too heavy. Or we can put it afterwards. So in here, we can just go back and just change a little bit more. I think it's a little bit too squarey, right? So let's see what happens if we just take the first EQ and change something here. Apparently this range gets a lot of crunch. Pretty nice. So now we have a kind of it's a good beginning, okay? So let's just take this kick and see what we can do it with. So before I get into different types of kicks that you can create, let's just save this kick and I will show you what you can do to actually start processing kicks more and more. Because at some point you will need to get out of your EQ, out of your mixer. So what you can do is record the kick like this with Edison, and you click on this one to trim the noise and this one to normalize it. Then you drag and drop it into your FL Studio. Now we have this kick here, right like this. So what you want to do then is separate the punch from the crunch, and that's something that I always do. So you slide it like this, right click, make unique, and now we call this punch. You don't have to do this all the time, but just to see and work organized, and crunch. Punch and crunch. You separate them, put them in the mixer like this, both of them. And then what I like to do is, just as with my layers, I like to just separate them in a nice way. So the punch gets into one channel like this, and the crunch goes into one channel like this. And I separate it, and I call this the punch channel. This is like the kick production routine that I always use to keep on processing kicks once I think that I have a nice beginning. You can also do this same exact technique with kicks that are already done. So that's the punch, that's the crunch, go into separate channels, and these two go together into the kick channel. But we will not add stuff in there yet. We will do that once we, worked a little bit more on it. So here's the punch. This is the kind of sound that you're going to look for when making punches. And that is if you boost the mids. So that's the thing that you learn. If you really boost the mids in front of distortion, you get that sound. And that's because we did this here. And we don't hear that boost because we took it down here. So that's why you want to work with automation clips. So here we have punch. Now we're going to add a wave shaper. And we can just boost it more. So put a wave shaper. And if you want raw style, there you go. This is a very raw kind of punch. If you boost this frequency in front of it and add distortion, maybe we can use distortion again. Then you have this basic punch, right? And if we want to keep on working on this punch, what you can actually add is a groove kick, like these. And you put them underneath and make sure you put it at transient bleeding. Take it down a bit. Combine those two, and then, you need to do one more thing, and that is have this punch, this extra one you added, the groove kick, have that go to the channel next to the punch, because you don't want to have the effects of the punch. So this one, okay. What happened is I took my punch, added effects, and then I added this kick. Both of these will go to the punch channel, and then the punch channel goes to the main kick. I want to find something that is powerful and not too much high, so this will work. I combine them, and both of these might get some more distortion. And maybe OTT. Because I want more clarity. That's just the thing that I feel right now. Then I want to compress it, because it's not compressed enough. So let's compress it. Because right now we get a nice click at the beginning. Now we have a punch that works really well, and a punch is literally taking the 909, boosting the mids at the beginning, taking that part, and then adding more distortion, really boosting that one band. Like this, and then you gotta like figure out yourself what you want to do with it. You can add pogo. You can hear that this gets a little bit more into raw, like hardstyle, kind of raw 4-ic. As long as you really don't boost the mids too much. Like this instead, you get more of this classic hardstyle. But I want to make something raw, so that's pretty nice. What you can add as well is snare transients. That is something that's done a lot as well. And we have Raw 4-ic Essentials, and in here you will find a kick fundamental folder with a lot of these attack transients, or criminal Rawstyle kicks as well. You get a kick part folder, and in here there is snare transients. Like these. Let's just see what happens, right? So snare transient. Let's control the volume, by the way. This is something that you will see yourself doing as well. Control the volume so that it's cleaner. We add it here. We add that to the punch. And let's find a nice one. We can add it to the second channel because the compression and shit doesn't work. So, and this one goes to everything. So maybe this one. It's really about trial and error. So that's pretty nice. So what we're gonna do now is work on the crunch. So the first thing I want to do is take a fruity limiter and then separate the crunch from the crunch in a better way. So as you can see, there's a little bit more crunch at the end. What I might want to do is just drag this crunch a little bit more into the punch like this, and then just make sure its volume, side chained to the punch like this. And we can make the punch longer as well, to make it fit. As you can hear, that works. So now we want to make the crunch a little bit longer, maybe. Make sure you put it at mono. And then we want to make sure that both of these blend together. So in the punch channel, take a limiter as well. And make gain automation like this, so that it stops here. Right? So you have the punch, you want to control the volume of the punch. And now it's kind of blending together in a nice way. So the thing about kick creation is that why the 909 works so well and you get this poing effect, like the wow, is because the wow, that thing happens because, let's say you have a kick and it's totally static and you distort it, right? There's no volume difference between it, and you distort it, then it's just like meh, it just keeps on going. But the moment that the volume goes down, just in a way like this, the volume goes down like this, and you then distort it, this part here is the most distorted, and it fades out. So that is why the 909 works so well. It's a very nice thing, or any sample with that kind of with that wave in it. But that's what you see in this kick. You see less volume here, and that is why at the end of this crunch, you have this very white noisy sound, because we didn't really have much thing to distort. So anyways, when you're working with distortion, you can utilize gain in a very nice way. You can take gain and make it minimum at first, and like more gain at the middle, and then less gain at the end, just like this idea. And then if you add distortion, you will find a pretty drastical change in the frequency. So like the character of the kick. So if I now add distortion again, let's just find a nice sound distortion. And then we go back and put some stuff in front. We can now make it more crunchy, more raw, like more we need to find that it's too old school in my opinion. So if you want to make old school kick, just don't process it too much. Let's distort it more. Here you go. Boosting the sub gets that nice frequency. We might get rid of the highs. Or we might just take the volume. Oh, here's a dumb mistake I made. I added the limiter afterwards. So what I want to do is add this limiter beforehand. I want to have this limiter go before the distortion instead and not after, because, you know, I added distortion. I add the limiter, distortion goes in this channel, and here I added the limiter. No, I want it in front. So now, oh, we need to find the right automation clip, of course. This one. But you can utilize this, so, you know. Now we have a pretty nice crunch. And in the channel where everything comes together, let's just imagine this is the final kick. There's so much more. You can, again, render this kick like this. Go into Edison. You can render this. And do it this way. And then put it back into your project, just like we did the first time. And then separate it again and get it through the same type of processing again, just like this. Separate it, punch, crunch, new channel, and then keep on working until you find a nice one. So I think this is going the right way. Yeah, pretty cool. We can maybe change the pitch. If you do that, make sure that the volume is the same, or like the pitch of the punch is the same as the crunch, or it's in the kind of the same key. So if you take a perfect fifth or perfect seventh, which just means like 5 semitones up or 7 up, that will work as well. So this is the key that works, and I think it's a little bit more crunchy. So yeah, we can add this. So the kick comes together in this channel. So what I then want to do is just take a reverb channel, and I just take the final kick, Edison and Valhalla Room. I just play the punch one time, like this. Stop recording the punch, put it like this, and then just take it in my project, reverse it, take a nice part where it's not too loud and not too soft, like this. Then I'm going to take a Valhalla, or like a volume shaper, and I'm just going to automate it and make sure that the reverb just goes in a way like this. And just remove the reverb like this from the channel. Just put it off, you know, don't enable it. But then you have this, because now you have the reverb. So now the reverb goes like this into the total kick. This one, and the final thing is remove the bass from the reverb. You really don't need that. Another thing you can play around with is put the reverb into the crunch channel as well. Sometimes that gets a nice vibe into it, you know. So in this case, just have the reverb soloed. And now you want to add some stuff on the reverb, maybe some distortion, but what I always like to add is Ozone 8 to make it very wide. And yeah, Ozone 8 right here. Imager, bands, open up, stereo-wise, and bam. And then some shapes you can use. You can do this to your punch, like the first beginning, and then have it go like this. But you can also have it go like this. And generally it starts the moment the punch is done. So now I think the punch can be a little bit punchier. And in the channel where everything comes together, so the total kick, I'm going to add a Valhalla a wave shaper for more distortion. Then I'm going to add Oxford inflator just to make a better kick. And I think we need to control this end volume of the kick a little bit more. I don't really like it, so let's take it down to 50 again. And now we can also move channels around a bit and see if we find a nice character. So maybe lengthen the crunch. I like this pitch, and let's maybe just boost different frequencies a little bit better. Well, that's fine. Now we can add Ozone 8 as well. And in Ozone 8, we will mono the sub, just to make sure that the sub is mono. As always, imager, boom, sub mono. Then we're going to add a compressor. You can make, you could use Isotope Trash, just to show that different plugins work. You know, Isotope Trash is a nice one to have. You can go into dynamics, open up the dynamics, and then go like, let's see. You can see the effect here, so let's put the ratio at 4. And then just get rid of that peak that is generated because of the compression. Like this, and I think we can duplicate the crunch. It's just stuff that you keep on doing, and then you figure out it can add some more stuff. So what's nice to do is take a second crunch and then add that to the same crunch channel in here, but then move the phase around. So and as you see, that doesn't really change too much. So what you can do as well is go and add another sub. So in this case, what I'm going to do is go into Rawstyle Essentials, because there's a folder in there with subs, so you can go and take a sub you like as well. So seems like this one is in G. So let's add a G sub and just combine that with the other sub. Here's the difference. I think that's pretty cool. We can add different types, so or maybe this one. And now in the final sub channel, I do think I want to control the limiting a little, the gain a little bit more, so that the punch has a little bit more breathing room, just like this. And now we have a pretty cool kick, actually. And we're gonna finally just corrective EQ it. Like this. And then we can take Edison and we just record it. You know, let's record it a long way like this. Edison. We remove this final part. And we take this. Now we made a very, that's the wrong channel. Now we made a pretty cool Rawstyle kick. And we went from that thing here to this. So yeah, that's our final kick. I guess we can keep on working. It's not the best, you know. I just tried to improvise this, but that's how you do it. You separate the punch from the crunch. You add stuff, you know. It's you can add pogo. These Rawstyle punches really work well with pogo, obviously. Nah, it's okay. But yeah, that's how you create these standard kicks, and I can also show you how you can create very quickly how you make an uptempo kick. So what you do is just you take a you can create hardcore kicks from this as well. Let's just take this one here, And I'm going to save this channel. So we have another one in which we can replicate what we made. So let's duplicate this kick, make unique. We have this kick. We put it into the other one. And we're going to go into 200 BPM. And now it depends a bit on the kick, but this might come in hardcore instead of uptempo. Like immediately you already have this hardcore vibe. I like it, you know. And old school. Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is So what you might want to do is create an automation clip so that the offbeat gets a little bit more mids, just like this. Ooh, okay. Open it up. And just as with the other kick, what we did was separate the punch, right? So let's take this punch again, which was the effect that we got out of this kick, just to show you, you could create a kick out of this like this. Actually, let's record it. What I'm going to do is just, there's a difference, right? You have this kick, and you can keep working on this kick without adding any punch. So you make the kick out of this, right? But you can also take that first punch we created, that Rawstyle kind of punch, and then we're going to just add the same type of stuff, which is this sound. This one. Then we add some pogo. And then we add distortion, just like we did with the other one. Distortion, add a lot of hard clipping. Then we add an EQ in front. We corrective EQ it. Just like this. And then we combine that with this one. And then we have a different type. And that's the thing. You could go on processing this one, you know, and then you get a hardcore kick. But you can make it more and classic to like the modern styles if you take a Rawstyle punch with this vibe and then combine that with this crunch. So how you do that, of course, is add the fruity limiter again and make sure that the two blend together really nicely. Let's make the punch shorter. Maybe make this one longer too. And I think it's nice, but it needs distortion and a combination with a sub. So it seems like A. Yeah, this is a kick in A. So let's add a sub that is in A as well. Combine that with this crunch. And then we add some distortion. Again, wave shaper is fine. Fruity wave shaper. And then we need to make sure that the sub goes together. Like this. And then let's add some more highs. And then we add another kick in here. So go to the standard FL. You can go to drums, kicks, take a groove kick. Like this. And then make it shorter with declick mode on, of course, transient bleeding. Like that. And then make both of these go into a channel. What you can also do is take a kick and route it back to the channel where it came from. So this is like that beginning channel we had right there. But I'm just going to route both of these into a new one. So both of these go into one channel again. And we might add some more distortion. Some corrective EQing. And then we add some compression because I want to get back to that normal level. So isotope trash maybe. Where's isotope trash? Anyways. Up. Yeah, okay, isotope trash. We just don't distort it at all. We just use this for the dynamics. So take down trash, go to dynamics, and then... just so we have that nice beginning tick UH, you know. Like this, we take down that peak again. A little bit, and then we can add reverb. So let's record reverb on that punch. For Hollow Room, Edison. Take this reverb, bam, 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 loop it, drop it in the project. Let's just create an automation clip, just like this. And now we have the reverb separated from the kick very easily. The punch, we remove the reverb again. Now we have this reverb playing, and we add that to the total channel here again. And now you can see that we made this kick, which was supposed to be 150 for that Rawstyle stuff. And then if we go up tempo, it's actually just taking that punch or that effect that we had and applying just a little bit different technique. So then we have hardcore and up tempo, which is it's just based on different kicks, I guess. Up tempo is pretty easy. I'll show you that like right away as well. If we take a saw wave, you want to make just want to make this type of wave like that. We'll open up to the level and add it to the sub as well. So you have the sub and the saw wave at the same time. Put it at -2. So you have this one, put it at trigger. And put this on a random. That means that the phase will always be the same. So you don't get different sounds. So now you route this one into your mixer. And what you're going to add is just a shit ton of distortion. So distortion, just open up. Like this. Then you're going to boost. Like that. Take this down. Then add another chain, add more distortion until you go back and just have a lot of distortion, you know. So, and you can add this to a different frequency. That's one, like this is these saw kicks, right? And what you want to do is like go into patcher, and in patcher you're going to separate the punch from the crunch. So you can add one here and one here as well, and then you kind of want to separate, create a band stop like this, or a band pass. Sorry, you want to create a band pass for the punch, and then you want to create a kind of like. Take the sub separate as well, and then play those at the same time, and you would have it sounds something like this. So put the patcher in front and add more distortion, like fast distortion. Fruity fast dist is pretty nice as well. Where is it? Here it is. Just gotta find a sweet spot. So you know. And here's how you get the peep kicks. If you make a very resonant peak, you get a nice combination. So you kind of boost this in the beginning, then go back and then change whatever you did a little bit, so you reduce the effect. And I'm just going to keep on going until it sounds good. What helps as well is getting rid of the highs to clean it up. Up tempo is a lot of fun. You can change a different peak. You kind of want to control this resonance until it kind of leaves room, right? You want to have nice resonance, but then also not too much. Kind of, you want to, if I boost it too much, the whole kick is like whoa, 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 but you want it to have like a little bit and then stop. You want this saw effect, and then you get it kind of like this. And what helps as well is taking a wave shaper again and adding bit munch to it. As you can hear, just put it at the right spot. And kind of control it. And maybe want to take a different frequency because I think this one is annoying. Yeah, that's a nice one. There you get it. That's pretty rough. So now we can go back into these waveforms, find a nice one. Go back into the patcher, see if we can change something. And we can change the bass too. And then at the end, you can add a little bit of compression, just not too much, and a little bit of limiting. And that's pretty nice. So now we have this uptempo kick going on, you know. And how you can create these kick effects, it really depends on the style you want to go for. But then, you know, what we might want to do is create a nice kick roll at the beginning. You can render the kick and then put it in your FL Studio as well. So, you know, now I kind of make it real time. You can also render the kick and put it in here. But what I like to do now is take an EQ and then just kind of go like... And now you can just kind of have this one go down and this one as well. So then the beginning of the kick kind of has this effect going on, and at the end it's back at the normal level, which is 50%. So then what it does is just it opens up frequencies which get distorted, which normally wouldn't get distorted because you don't have the EQ. So kind of, you know, you get this because you added this effect. And that's kind of how you know, now we have this kick here. Let's just play this for like I need to tweak this a little bit more to make you understand, right? So you kind of want to accentuate this very resonant sound that you create, you know, with one EQ, like this one. And I might not want to do this one or the other one, you know. And this is like 50% all the time. Like this. Yeah, that's the thing I was looking for. So you kind of want to boost the highs, like you really want to make a resonant peak. Like this. Sorry, or you kind of really want to boost the peak. Take down the sub, and then once the drop hits, you actually have the kick going on, and you can obviously make this even better if you make a little bit of a high pass as well, so you kind of remove the bass afterwards, not during the kick, just to, you know, accentuate that it's kick effect. And then you have the kick going on, that's just playing and playing and playing, and then in the second part of the drop, you actually get more resonant frequencies back again. You can do this with another EQ, just because you want to preserve whatever you already did. And then you kind of introduce a second peak during the next part of the drop. So let's just replicate this effect that we created for the first part of the drop. So if we have one more kick effect right here, and then during the second part of the drop, you just kind of loop it, right? Like this. So now we have the following thing. We have the kick effect, then we have a normal drop, and then in the second part, we just make more resonance. So you kind of upgrade the kick just by boosting the frequencies a little bit more. That's kind of how you can create these kicks, and there's so much different stuff you can do. Just play around with it. It's just the basics of the uptempo, but you get the idea. You can change so much and create different kicks. So that's kind of how you make these uptempo kicks. So now we did a Rawstyle kick, we did a raw hardcore kick. These as well, we did basic old schools, actually just like taking this kick and then not distorting it too much. So, well, a basic old school kick, you take this kick, you put this at 100, 150. We just add the EQ, we add distortion. We add distortion, hard clip, then we add another EQ, and we add another distortion, and you might just don't want to add anything else, maybe one more EQ and one more distortion. But that's basically it for like old school kicks. Like in the old school kicks, you want this boom wop boom wop. You kind of want that, and I think also reverse bass came out of this, but yeah, we kind of boost stuff. Not too much, maybe some more distortion. You get this drive into the kick. Like this. That's kind of the hardcore, like old school, the old school vibe, I guess. And you can go in the end here and then just boost and make sure it's clean. Like that. Let's add one more EQ. I don't think there's a lot of automation going on in these old school kicks because you didn't really generally do that in the, like that time. And you could of course create a little bit of automation clip just to create that punch. Just like this, and you can change the length of the 909. Different kicks. You can change the kicks too. But in general you need the 909, so as long as you have the doom doom inside of the kick instead of like a very clicky beginning. As you can hear, this is very clicky and this is more like doom. That's the old school kick. And then it's so easy to go from old school kick to a Rawstyle kick. This video is pretty long, but I want to just show you all the different types of kicks you can create just from this 99 beginning, you know. And the Uptempo was the only one, like the Uptempo was like the only one that isn't from the 99. That's pretty cool. Pretty nice. Old school kick, Rawstyle kick right here. Like, and then, oh, that's this one. Then we have the beginning for hardcore. So hardcore, like 180. It's kind of like a Rawstyle punch, and then combined with that 99 crunch, like Miss Kate types. It's that's when you get the punch and then pogo it. So, and then in that punch, you want to add a lot of distortion and boost one band, so you get that vibe. So now hardcore, Rawstyle, Uptempo, old school. Euphoric is actually like, I don't know. Euphoric is just taking a Rawstyle kick and making it a little bit less raw and a little bit more suitable for melodies. So I guess that's kind of it, you know. That's a lot of tips on kick creation. Basically, I've shown you how to separate, like start with a 99, distort it, take the create a punch, separate it from the crunch, and then you kind of go a lot of ways just by keep distorting and separating and reverb channels and working organized. If you do that, I guarantee you will get very nice kicks. So, and there's so many ways to go. And it all comes down to distortion, EQ, EQ, distortion, EQ, distortion, EQ, distortion. Keep on doing it, keep on processing, and you need to have fun with this. It's so much fun if you actually get some kicks right. And you just need to, like, the homework kind of would be to take a kick and take 3 chains. So one chain is an EQ distortion. Take 3 of them and then just tweak, like put it all in hard clip, open all of these distortions totally open like this. Then go back into your EQs and tweak stuff at different spots, and you will see that certain EQs have certain meaning. Like the first EQ is generally not used too much to create these effects. The second EQ, however, you get these really nice raw stuff, and the third EQ is kind of more for final presence and character, and you will figure it out and see what happens and what really works for your kicks. Make these kind of beginnings, you know. Make this type, make this one, boost the bass, see what happens. So I also wanted to show you real quick about Frenchcore kicks. I'm sure there's people here that want to make Frenchcore. So what you can do is take an E-kit kick again. Maybe let's work with this one. As you can see, the bass is very the place you want to be for Frenchcore. Like this. And you want to make a peak in the beginning for Frenchcore. Something like this. This is a nice beginning for Frenchcore, I guess. I just want to go back and just tweak a little bit more. I don't know, it's... Let's just say we take this one. Yeah, it's not finished at all, and it's kind of very on the spot, I guess. Like I can't just make this in 1 second. But if we take this one, trim it, normalize it, take this kick like this. We kind of have a punch and a crunch, so let's take the punch like this, separate it again, take the punch as well. And what I want to do is maybe make some pogo. We can work with this. Then we want to add a groove kick. Like this one. And we want to make sure it's declicked. And we take down like this. We combine both of these into one channel. Like so. Then we take the kick. This one. And then we take a limiter. And the limiter will be very much here to create an offbeat kind of vibe. Frenchcore is more like, you know, like... You could make it like... Like to bump and womp and womp and womp. You know, it's a little bit offbeat, so... And now we kind of want to make the punch and the crunch go together a bit better. You have the groove kick and this one as well. And these go into one channel. It's like punch, crunch again, separated, very easy. So this thing here depends on the Frenchcore you want to make. You could also literally not separate this at all and play this on top. So, and don't add the pogo, that's what I mean. Like you don't... This is also Frenchcore. It's not finished, but that's a good beginning. But I like to make pogo and kind of take this thing and keep on distorting, just like I would do with a Rawstyle kick. And then you get these nice kicks. So what you can do is also take this one and have it end at this spot. So copy value, move it from this spot to that spot that I just showed you with the copy value, and then you get this. That works really well. We can remove the bass a bit and then use this one for the bass, which is the groove kick, which we just had underneath. Let's find it. This one. We have this underneath. And then we just distort that groove kick and the punch together. And I think there needs to be a little bit more bounce in the kick, like. Like this. Both of these can go together into the kick channel. Let's just do that. Actually, we need to make a new one for that. I'm kidding. There you go. And in this one, you want to distort it a little bit more. You want to, yeah, it's hard, you know. That's possible. It's a little bit too rough, but I like to make it a little bit static, you know, like. Yeah, that's more like it. That's because like the bass of the punch of this like groove kick kind of blends into the bass here because we distorted it. So that's why that works. And then we have this bass here, and I want to kind of take that bass and just make it better, I guess. What works is taking serum. You want to take anything like this one. You kind of want to move this one around with a little bit of detune. and then kind of move the wavetable. So let's move this one. A little bit of soft clipping. A nice thing about Serum, you can play something and then drag and drop whatever you played last, just like here. We need to find, sorry about that, we need to play the last thing it played, and that's in the right key, of course, so. Which is A, so let's render A real quick, okay? So now we created this wavy thing like this. And we're going to add this to the kick. And now we're going to blend both of these together into the bass. So like this extra thing here gets volume automation like that. And then kind of want to combine it and add that wave that you just added. Add that to the bass as well. So add this to the bass channel. And now you can just combine it and find a nice sweet spot for it and distort it a little bit more, see what happens and what sounds good. And as you can see, the bass is very vital for Frenchcore. And now for the punch, I think we need to add one more chain because I think it's a little bit too. Like that, and we can add, you know, isotope trash to compress it. You can do this with any plugin that is a compressor, of course. Take the dynamics, just like this. Boom, a dynamics. And then in the total kick, I think the crunch can be softer. And then we can add inflator. You can also remove the punch, you know. Nice combination. Of course, it's not the best kick. Now we're going to find frequencies and take them down. And now we need to compress it, finally. And then we can just like, I'm not really happy with this kick actually, but whatever. Let's just render it, see what it sounds like, and see it in the playlist. So now we have the kick. Take it here. We kind of have something along the ways of a Frenchcore kick. Computer starting to trip a lot actually. Here we go. Frenchcore kick. We play it. And the Frenchcore kicks, you will see a lot of these like square type of waves. That's why I took that square vibe as well in Serum, which just show you was this waveform, because it looks a lot like this one, and then you can combine this up. So Frenchcore vibes, you know, and then we have all these type of kicks made just in like 1 hour or something. If you're still watching until this point, like, great job. Happy to know that, and I hope it was very helpful to you. You can see that 199 gets you so many different kicks, and it just comes down to specializing in one subject. You can really focus on Rawstyle first and then get into other stuff. and eventually you'll just see that a lot of stuff is overlapping. It's just at a different tempo. It really comes down to, do you want a tonal punch? So yeah, boost then, if so, boost the mids a lot, add distortion. If not, then just add different stuff instead to make it powerful. For example, with euphoric kicks, you don't boost the mids, and then you kind of have a nice punch to work with, but you need to add a snare transient, like a little bit more of a clicky sound to make it better. And you will find your own ways. There's no right or wrong. This is just the way I like to work with it, and it's a way that a lot of people work with as well. But you can do this whatever way you want, you know. So good luck with this. Have fun, and thanks for watching.